Hey y'all, hey, I'm your girl Courtney Ewing, trichologist and certified hair loss practitioner. I study the hair and scalp and different scalp disorders, and welcome to Hair Talk Tuesday, where we talk about all things hair. I had to applaud you because your hair health means a lot to you, and that means a lot to me. So today's topic is going to be part 2 of what we talked about last week, was alopecia that targets the hairline. Hey, Nayabaya. I'm pulling up. Zay. Y'all don't need to hear that again, right? So today is part 2 of what we talked about last week. I was very distracted last week because of TikTok, so I am not on TikTok this week. So I can be, more tuned in. TikTok will be on its own day at its own time because I feel like the attention just needs to be there. So I will do a brief overview of what we went over last week. If this intrigued you, please go back and watch that video. So last week we talked about traction alopecia, which is the alopecia mainly along the hairline, because those hairline hairs are smaller hairs due to just too much tension, too tight tension, constantly pulling, tugging, and that added stress on the hair. Definitely reversible. You just have to stop the bad hair habits, the pulling and tugging. We talked about frontal fibrosing alopecia, FFA. That is a scarring alopecia, autoimmune. And that is like a receding hairline, but also like a band that will go around the hair to the back. That is usually permanent. I'm saying usually permanent because, all things are possible through God. Androgenetic alopecia, we went over. I absolutely have an entire video on androgenetic alopecia because it is the most common form of alopecia. And then we talked about CCCA. That is a scarring alopecia. Usually permanent. Androgenetic, that is definitely treatable and reversible with treatments, and you do have to stay on those treatments because that is genetics and hormones together. Hey, Auntie, did you get your products? I'm cannot go to that one no more. So excited to try what, Mercedes? And then, so we went over the androgenetic, the CCCA, and I'll check on that when I'm done. So now let's talk about, and I'm going to go over treatments for the scarring alopecias. Oh, the hair oils. Okay. So the next ones that we're going to go over, I'm looking down because I have my notes, because sometimes I really get into it when I'm talking and I veer off my path and I need to find my way back home. And yes, the hair oils are chef's kiss. So next one we're going into is the alopecia areata, mainly talking about the ophiasis pattern, which again is going to be like a band-like pattern. Is loss, patchy hair loss in the front and the sides, so kind of like a half band. The normal, I would say the more common form of alopecia areata, that is going to be like behind the ear, off to the side in the back. It could be in the middle too, but it's typically the normal alopecia areata is in the back behind the ears. That is autoimmune. This pattern, the ophiasis pattern, is autoimmune. It is often reversible. Getting the body to its most healthiest state, that's going to be the thing when it comes to these autoimmunes. Um, the next one is telogen effluvium. Now, this can happen when, if you're really sick, chronic stress, if everything's copacetic in life, and then there's this boom, this high stressful event that happens where you're just chronically stressed, that can cause telogen effluvium. If your hormones are out of whack, that can cause telogen effluvium, especially in that whole menopause stage. And then illness, if you're sick, extremely sick. A lot of people was experience hair loss with COVID and differences in the textures of their hair. And telogen effluvium is a diffuse hair loss, so it's not a hard target on the hairline, but this entire top can just be thin, like very thin. So it will affect the hairline, but it doesn't hard target it like some of these. That one, it is reversible. Once again, getting the hair back to its most natural state, that's going to be key. So if you're going through surgery, being under sedation, anesthesia, that can cause a telogen effluvium. That is where all this is thin. Getting the hair back to it, the body back to its healthiest state, that's going to reverse it. Over time, as the medications come out of the system, your hair will start to grow back. Over time, once you're not so stressed, those stressors they're lowering, your hair is going to start coming back. And getting the hormones balanced, your hair will start coming back. That one's reversible. The next one, temporal triangular alopecia, we're going to call this TTA. This is when you lose hair on the edges, mainly the temples, and it's going to be like a triangle shape on the temples. You lose the hair and, oh, excuse me, and it doesn't come back. So usually permanent. This is more common in children. It's very rare in adults. This is a early onset hair loss that happens. And okay, I'm gonna still say my piece, but after we get through these, and then we're going to treatments. Also, if you have any questions, it does not have to pertain to this topic at all, as long as it pertains to hair. Drop them in the comment section. The next one is lichen planopilaris. This is a autoimmune / scarring alopecia, so usually permanent, and that is a patchiness around the frontal hairline. Do we have any questions on any of these? Please put them in the comment section. If not, I'm going to, keep it moving. So I want to talk about so they say scarring alopecia is permanent. If we're letting science talk, scarring alopecia is permanent because as the hairs are coming out, the follicles are being completely destroyed and replaced with scar tissue, which leaves no room for hair to grow. Hair will not grow back. But we know how God do his thing, right? And I do believe some cases it could come back. I do not, and that's just me. This is my opinion. I said the science part, now this is my opinion. And I have seen people who regrow hair after permanent hair loss. So, yeah. Treatments for scarring alopecia. All of these things, they are very helpful with slowing the hair loss down um, strengthening. So they're going to do one of three things: control inflammation. Scarring alopecia comes from inflammation. Scalp stimulation and preserving the follicles. Those three things, like that's top three when you're dealing with permanent hair loss. First one is the diet. I would do a low inflammatory diet. The Mediterranean diet is really good for scarring alopecia. There is like a protocol diet, paleo diet, but whichever you choose, talk to a professional before you do. Something low in sugar, high in omega-3s, rich in antioxidants. You want to leave the junk completely. The chips, the donuts, the sugary, sweet, nice, yummy treats, you want to leave those alone. The next one, laser therapy, low-level laser therapy. This will stimulate the cellular energy needed to promote hair growth. It reduces inflammation. It improves blood flow. And definitely you want to hit that at the early stages. I do have laser caps on my website. Let me drop that in the chat. Not too much on my website, y'all, because I am still trying to bring it up. I'm switching website host, and that is a whole thing within itself. Let me see. So that is tagged in the chat for those who want it or need it, whatever. The next one is going to be blue light therapy. Oh, let me not forget, do not confuse laser therapy with red light therapy. People say that they are the same. They are not the same. They are not the same. Red light therapy helps on the surface level. Laser therapy goes beneath the surface, actually hits those follicles, create that blood flow, open those capillaries. Don't let nobody tell you it's the same, because it's not. It's not. Blue light therapy helps reduce scalp inflammation. If you are losing hair at a more rapid pace, I would say laser therapy would be better than blue light, because it has all these extra benefits to it. As for blue light, is inflammation on the scalp. As for laser therapy, does that and then some. Mesotherapy, which is injections of nutrients or anti-inflammatory agents under the scalp. Typically, you could go to a dermatologist and have this done, but this improves scalp health, and it may stimulate weak follicles. Often paired with PRP or growth factors. PRP is plasma-rich platelets, and growth factors are what we already have within our hair follicle, but it jumpstarts them. It's very potent and gets that hair in that growing stage. Another thing, microneedling and derma rolling. It creates micro injuries to promote healing and collagen production and blood flow. Again, we need blood flow. The more circulation that we have going through the scalp, the more blood flow we have. When we have that blood flow is what creates the energy needed for hair growth. You know what you can do to boost stimulation on your own, not paying for nothing? Right here. So circular motions. If you can do that at least 25 minutes a day, that's going to create circulation. That's going to create that blood flow. For the micro needling and derma rolling, if you do this, it's not advised to do this on yourself at home, especially if you have a scarring alopecia. If you do this, be careful. You don't want to do too much. So too much trauma to the scalp can make the inflammation worse. And that is not good, because then the hair loss that you had is going to be even more rapid. When dealing with scarring alopecia, you want to treat the inflammation first. That's what's causing it, is the inflammation. So treat that first, and then let's work on the hair growth. Other things that are helpful is scalp detox and scalp exfoliation, kind of getting toxins and impurities out of the scalp that like a normal shampoo would not get out. That can be helpful. Also, and I do believe this next one is severely slept on, is lymphatic drainage. And you can do that with a, what do they call those things? A vibration plate. That vibration plate that people stand on in their body be going like that. So that helps with lymphatic drainage throughout the entire system, the entire body. And what that does is helps clear waste, toxins, and inflammatory byproducts out of the body. This improves inflammation throughout the entire body. I think that's going to be like your heavy hitter, because I'll get to that. It also boosts circulation, and it promotes stress relief, chronic stress, intelligent effluvium, stress relief right there. And then it helps support detox. These treatments are what I know. There are a bunch of other treatments with medication, steroid shots, those things you have to talk to a dermatologist about. They do that. And then if you want to know how active your scarring is, or if it's still active or not active, those things you can also get from a dermatologist. They can do a scalp biopsy and let you know these things. Do we have any questions at this point? Otherwise, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so I know how I was talking about scarring alopecia. CCCA is very common amongst Black women, caused by inflammation. Also, plano lichen pilaris is that one. It was kind of popular back in the day. I ain't gonna say popular, common back in the day. Then it kind of went away, or went low till it wasn't a common one. But recently it is coming back up, more common. So that is one that's going to be coming back. But with those being autoimmune and inflammatory, Black women have higher amounts of inflammation in the body over other races. And I said this in part 1. We are the ones, we sacrifice our health. We sacrifice our well-being to make sure that everybody else is straight. And we don't do it on purpose. I think we just kind of forget to care about ourselves and kind of get lost in the sauce. Now it is becoming more common to show self-love, to say no, to have discipline, boundaries. Yeah, to have boundaries, and just having that self-care, self-love, preserving ourselves so that we can be there for you to make sure, others are straight. I feel how we eat, just our lifestyles, how stressful it is, I think that is our downfall. But with this change coming about, with us having boundaries, with us, oh, this is a self-care day, I'm going to show myself some self-love. Us doing these things, I think is going to cause a chain reaction in the future and kind of limit the inflammation in our bodies as time goes on. Because, okay, and then here's my thing with the CCCA. They say hairstyles and chemicals, and now they're saying genetics. There's a gene that some people have who have scarring alopecia. I think it's like PADI 80 or PADI 60, something like that. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. They're saying if you have this gene, then that's the gene connected to scarring alopecia. My opinion, again, this is what I think. This is not based on any studies or anything. I just, sorry, y'all. I just feel if we have the right diet, if we exercise properly, if we're in the right environment, we can reverse these things. Because the autoimmune, your body accidentally attacks your follicles, thinking that it's a threat. Your body thinks your hair follicles is a threat, so it sends these white blood cells to it. It sends these white cells to it, which causes the inflammation. The inflammation becomes too much, and with these scarring alopecia, there is pain, there is itching, there's burning. Maybe that's the how it feels when your follicles are being destroyed. I don't know, but that's what it says. Your body attacks the follicles and destroys them, then replaces those follicles with scar tissue, leaving that shiny look to it. And so they say it's as if land is, when it's replacing it with scar tissue, that's as if cement being paved over. And then it says, grass doesn't grow on cement or through cement, something like that. But like the inflammation, so that's the key. The inflammation is the key. If we have low inflammatory diet, so I have Crohn's disease. It is an autoimmune disorder. I've been on medications that cause hair loss. That's when I was misdiagnosed, and that's a whole nother story. But having a journal, writing down everything that you do, and I know I'm not saying like I walked today and I started with my right foot. I'm not saying that detail. You ain't got to do all that. But I'm saying if you say, I tried this product, I ate this different, I had this much sleep, I had this much water, you can pinpoint what's going on. You start having issues, go through your journal. What has been going on? What's different? What has changed with my Crohn's disease? It took a lot, and it took a journal writing down, this is what I ate today. This is what I did today. So now I know heavy fried, greasy foods, that triggers a flare-up. Dairy products, I cannot eat dairy products. That causes a flare-up. What else? The weather, that's out of my control, but that can cause a flare-up when it gets real cold. What's another one of my triggers? High stress. If my body is under physical or emotional stress. That causes a flare. So now what stresses me? I have to keep track of those things. So then now I have to implement, no, I cannot do that. I'm so sorry. I wish I could. No, I cannot eat that. So just having those disciplines in place, having that journal, I think it would really help. It helps you catch what's going on. Because if inflammation is the issue and your body is hijacked thinking something that is not even a threat is a threat, something's going on in the body on why it's doing that. So if we can fix that, kind of break it on down to where it first starts, sky's the limits, baby. But yes, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'll set them for a little bit in case, because I know these things, the comments come up very delayed. If you have any questions on scarring, alopecia, hair loss that is not scarring, or just, keeping your hair healthy, keeping your hair happy, this is the perfect time to ask. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, support. It means a lot. Okay. Yeah, I hit everything too. That was a lot of talking. This is going to be a great video to go back and watch. If you're coming in late, this is a great one to go back and watch. As I am running down the clock, I don't know if I said the treatment for androgenetic alopecia, because I do have a whole video on it, but that is going to be blocking the DHT, because that's caused by genetics and hormone. The hormone is DHT, dihydrotestosterone. If you block that, it will not choke the hair follicles and the hair will come back. Androgenetic alopecia for women pattern, that's that middle part. It's going to spread out and get wide. Male pattern kind of starts right here or at the crown, or it could be at both, and they just kind of meet, and it leaves all this other hair alone. Ain't that so strange? That's what makes me study. Because why? Next week, I will be talking about all the products that I offer. So what sis was talking about, that she's so excited to try it. She talking about this. That's what she talking about. I don't know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that? This is what she talking about, y'all. This stuff. Talk about hair growth. And if you do have androgenetic alopecia, it does help with that. I just think you should also take a supplement that blocks DHT from the inside as well. So you hitting it from the outside with the oil, and you hitting it from the inside with the supplements. That's like knuck if you buck to hair loss. Okay, you guys, there's no questions. Thank you guys for joining. I do hope you learned something. Like I said, like, share, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell, support. And until next time, I'll see y'all next week.